Well, hello, that's me again. Today is August 22. It is Thursday, and boy, yeah, you have to have a really hard time to figuring out where to start. But I will start with this thing. How to put it politely? I don't know. It's just judge for yourself. Mr. Trump speaking yesterday. He comes out, or maybe it was today actually. No, I think so. It was yesterday because it was reported. Yes, you can see yourself by, in this particular case, Hindustan Times, but it is also on Fox. And so Mr. Trump comes out and talking to his adoring crowd and saying to this adoring crowd that his claim is that Russians are actually stole hypersonic technology from the United States. He says the United States had it, but somebody, and of course this somebody is Barack Hussein Obama, and the crowd cheers. And so as it turned out, Russians stole American hypersonic technology. So I strongly suggest you to go to comments to those videos because obviously it's just delightful. So the question, obviously, the main question is how Russians were allowed to steal something which United States doesn't have, and it's not even near it. And yeah, considering the fact that Russians are already on the second generation of the hypersonic weapons, while the first generation of hypersonic weapons, starting from 3M22 Zircon and of course Kinjal, performed admirably in the combat conditions. Where do you go from here? But yeah, this is the claim he made. Trump, for some reason, he says that hypersonic weapons are the ones which fly 7 times faster than whatever their missile. But yeah, essentially, it's a 5 plus Mach 5 plus of more than 5 speeds of sound. And you know what? I don't know. It's just becoming absolutely preposterous, and it's difficult even to comment on that. So here we are. We have these people coming in for a match, so to speak, in 2024, this November, and yeah, the guy simply just made things up, and but let's continue with more kind of natural development of the, well, for example, special military operation. So we have now the attempt of allegedly Ukraine, which tried to attack this airfield in Murmansk Oblast. And this airfield is called Vysoke. Here it is, as you can see yourself, and there is a reason why I drew the line from this village, which is essentially, well, it's kind of a little town, to Finnish border. It's 102 miles or 165 kilometers, because the drone which was shot down, you can easily find the videos of that, and it's natural, Russians shoot down pretty much most of it, was flying in there, what is called A-22. It's a kind of Polish knockoff of Cessna, which was turned into their UAV, and there is no way it would fly from Ukraine to this distance. So, well, we have to ask the question, what now SVR, FSB, and Defense Ministry know about this attempt of the attack? The attempt on the attack was on this airfield. As you can see yourself, it's an old Google Maps photo. It was the airfield which was used actually by Russian strategic aviation last year as the jump from which they flew and launched missiles at Ukrainian targets. And as you can see yourself, in the underlined, it's stored old Tu-22s, old versions of Tu-22s, and as you can see yourself, but there are newer Tu-22s there, and actually my friend, my classmate served there. He was the only one out of our class of 1985 who went to serve in the what is called naval or missile missile-carrying aviation. He became the navigator. Then he became the chief of the, what's called electronic warfare for the whole regiment of this, missile-carrying Tu-22s, which were the main strike weapon for any kind of the U.S. Navy fleet approaching, northern shores of Soviet Union. So, but now it's kind of semi-functional, and there's some combat aircraft. So that's what they were trying to hit. So it was shut down, but the question now, where from? And there are all kinds of the speculation. Obviously, we are not privy to the information from the as a FSB, or let alone the telemetry by Defense Ministry, which obviously Air Defense Forces tracked it. If it is Finland, they better get ready to answer for it. And but there is a chance that it could have been done from some airfield or abandoned even strip of land inside Russia. You have to understand that Russia made a huge strategic mistake by allowing a lot of Ukrainians just at some point of time migrate to Russia, thus importing a huge number of the sleeper cells, which are, well, let's put it this way, Ukrainian patriots who also are in contact with their Ukrainian brethren, especially from the GUR and SBU, all those intel organizations in Ukraine, and maybe even to the Western intel organizations, which are directly involved in the terrorism and sabotage. So you cannot also, discount the possibility that it has been launched from the inside Russian territory. So in this case, it becomes the matter of FSB investigation. But it was shut down. But Ukrainians didn't stop here. They actually sunk the civilian ferry today at the civilian port called Kavkaz. It's not far from Kerch bridge, and it was done by use of the unmanned surface vehicles, which are essentially small boats. And the civilian ferry with some it was transporting or actually being loaded with some type of fuel, either diesel fuel or something like that. So they sunk it. So it was obviously a small vessel. It's undefended, and they just killed the civilian targets. That's what they do. They do terrorism. So, but it all also, how to put it, it tells you that the situation is very desperate, to put it politely, okay? And so let's go to the losses for today. It's on the 22nd. As you can see yourself, there are, by the way, yet another M1 Abrams have been burned. You can look up those videos. My God, it's just... And funny thing is that they carrying now the additional armor, which is called Contact. It's a Soviet armor, reactive armor. And didn't help, burned completely. So it's going to be probably, dragged to yet another exposition of the NATO equipment. And as you can see yourself, 4 tanks and APCs, 37 armored vehicles, artillery and mortars 60, and MLRS 4. They shut down another Su-27. So the slaughter continues. And in Kursk Oblast, as you can see yourself, if you take a look at it, this is for those challenged, geographically. As you can see yourself, the area, and keep in mind, this is not how maps work. What they show the extent to which some group might have reached. It doesn't mean that they control this territory. But as you can see yourself, it's shrinking, and shrinking very well. And I, obviously, for ethical reasons, will not post here the videos and photos of what is happening there. But as Abtil Audinov, the commander of the Akhmat Brigade, says, boy, we never killed so many of them in such a short period of time. And it's a killing field there. And so probably if you roughly run this, territory, how much of the territory now is probably down to something like 60, 70 square kilometers at best. So it's for those, people who think that captured territory necessarily, or actually territory to which they could have advanced, is an indicator of anything. So as you can see yourself, it's over for them there. But if that hasn't been enough, we have, it's Pokrovsk yesterday. As you can see yourself, it just expands everywhere, as you can see yourself, and it expands by leaps and bounds. And Pokrovsk will be, Russians, some of the groups already in Pokrovsk. And then, of course, we have this situation with Toretsk, which, as you can see yourself, Toretsk is being encircled from both sides. And if you go and look at the other areas, including the areas to the Seversk, there are breakthroughs everywhere. So, and now we have this, funny magazine called Newsweek. Already on the 16th, they started, Zelensky walked into Putin's trap. They published it on August 16th. Let me explain the meaning of trap. The trap is something which you set up specifically. And as I already stated on a number of occasions, and in my videos, and even when speaking to different people, all my friends and who interview me, that actually it was not necessarily a trap. Russians knew that there will be some kind of incursions. And as I already stressed it was equiprobable. That means the probability of the attempts on the incursion were about the same for Bryansk, Belgorod, and Kursk Oblast. It was Kursk which actually didn't do the job properly to, prepare itself in the forefield, which is called the front zone or cover zone or security zone for the army, which you always deployed a little bit in depth. That's why the incursion achieved. They call it breakthrough. There was no breakthrough. They just walked into the, pretty much, except for the tripwire force of the border guards, they walked into the free space there. There was nobody there. So, and they chose Kursk, obviously, from the point of view of the people who planned it for them. They planned them in Pentagon and London. Actually, it's in Ramstein, as I already stated. And then, of course, they ran into the wall, and now they are slaughtered. And already then, even Newsweek started thinking, it was a trap. No, it wasn't a trap. It's called operational art. It's, if you wish, everybody knows that Vladimir Putin is a great judoka, but, it's Aikido, judo. You allow, the movement of the enemy to become your advantage. And this is exactly what have happened. And it became a trap. Exactly. It wasn't the trap, but it became a trap, and now we see horrific results for armed forces of Ukraine. They tried again to do what is called diversionary recon group into the Bryansk Oblast, up to 200 people. It's almost two companies. They have been obviously repelled, and many of them have been killed, and a bunch of the equipment has been burned. And it's just one of the explanation of the situation with Kursk Oblast. And it's not just Kursk Oblast. Everywhere, as I already stated, everywhere we have these developments. And when Newsweek says something like this, you say, yeah, this is Neokon rag. And even they kind of started to suspect something. So, well, what can I say? And there was this, American conservative magazine, the guy, Ivan Eland, and he is talking about yesterday that Ukraine is playing with fire in Kursk. And look how he places, he actually formulates his, subtitle. The offensive makes sense only if a swift end to the war is in view. Well, here's the problem with all those, American strategists or people who pretend that they understand strategy. It wouldn't be making any sense whatsoever be them with the war, the end of the war in view, or there is no end of the war in view. It makes no difference, because this is not how operations work. And you see what they do, those people, what so-called strategists in the United States and elsewhere in the West, they think about it only in political terms. It's important, correct. Strategy is, working for achieving their political aims of war. The problem problem is it is driven not by political aims as formulated. It is driven starting from the correlation of forces and means. This is, yeah, balance of power. Ukraine can do whatever it wants, and they already try. As I already stated, they sunk the civilian ferry today. So they go, oh my God, a great victory. So, well, in reality, of course, you saw the numbers. It's horrendous. And if Newsweek got it, that, oh my God, it's going to end up pretty bad, and it did end. And you can look up their podcast. I believe it was podcast from military.com. You don't quote me on that. You can correct me. One General Garrick, American general, he stated that actually it was the most botched operation in the recent history. He said it's comparable to the actually run of the United States forces from Afghanistan. But, as he said, at least we ran there, out of there with small, number of casualties. Here you have a slaughter on the industrial scale. And yes, as everywhere, they say, for example, just to, here's the point of view from United Kingdom. We have this guy, Keith Clarenberg. And he's talking about it, and yesterday, he is a blogger, and he actually makes sense, but yeah, this is a very interesting point of view from Britain, from United Kingdom. Actually, they think, indeed, in UK, that somehow Britain, Kursk invasion backfires. First, Britain cannot, United Kingdom or armed forces cannot, invade Leeds, or, cannot invade Chelsea, district, borough in London. I mean, it's pathetic. But yeah, they think about themselves that they are so great that they somehow invaded invaded Kursk. But he says that he mentions what I've been mentioning all the time for the last year and a half, that British Challenger 2 tanks reached Ukraine with enormous fanfare. And we know how it all ended really badly. So as it was, Challenger 2 tanks deployed to Robotny in September were almost instantly incinerated by Russian fire. Then they were quietly withdrawn from combat altogether. No, one of them has been burned again. And this is what he writes about, which is correct. Evidently, the new Labour government has an ambitious vision for the proxy war's continuation. Yet, if the counter-invasion is anything to go by, it's already dead in the water. Well, it's not just dead in the water, it's a complete destruction of the forces. And as the Times, London Times, notes, the imbroglio is primarily designed to boost morale at home and shore up Zelensky's position, while relieving pressure on the collapsing Donbass front line by forcing Russia to redirect forces to Kursk. Instead, Moscow has capitalized on the absence of four crack. I don't know why it's four. There are actually probably about four brigades which are still well done, so to speak, in terms of their combat capabilities remaining. So, but yeah, four crack Ukrainian regiments to press their attacks around Pokrovsk and Chasiv Yar. Oh, well, actually, yeah, it was a gift for Russia. And Western actions against Russia, a defense expert, quotations, yeah, United Kingdom doesn't have defense experts, told the Times, if it looks as if the Brits are too far ahead of their NATO allies, it might be counterproductive. This analysis is prescient, for there is ample indication that London's latest attempts to ratchet tensions and drag the US and Europe ever deeper into the proxy war quagmire has already been highly counterproductive and boomerang quite spectacular. Indeed, it appears that Washington has finally had enough of London escalatory connivances. And correct, it's absolutely correct. London is nobody. I mean, they have to understand, United Kingdom is economic and military chihuahua. It's not even the top 10 economics in the world. It doesn't have its own steel industry. Their armed forces are pathetic. Their military education in Britain is a joke. Those elites are inbred, and most of them are imbeciles, from the degree meals in the so-called, elite institutions such as Oxford. All these humanities programs, throw them away. I mean, it's garbage. So look at Liz Truss or look at Boris Johnson. So, but yet they still pretend that they matter. United States matters, okay? Somebody has to deliver to London news. They are nobodies. They, you know what, in fact, is if they really start something, London will be flattened. There will be nothing left there, and they can do nothing about it. But yet, these guys still consider themselves big dogs, and they do continue the escalation and provocations. So, and in this case, this piece of the analysis is absolutely correct. And evidently, even Washington had enough with this, because as I already stated, it is between Washington and Moscow. These are two big geopolitical players. Obviously, United States is declining, and there are, as you saw yourself, United States allows, Russians to steal hypersonic technology. But these are big countries. These are important countries which have the bearing on the global balance of power, economics, and all that. So, but no, I mean, evidently London wants to pretend that it matters. It doesn't, except for the provocateur, which will be killed the first time if it really gets to the serious, God forbids, war. And yet, here we are. You cannot explain to those people that, guys, you're not even in the, in championship anymore. You're not Premier League by far, but you're not even in the championship anymore. You are below. You are local, whatever the, league, and stay there. Just stop doing this, because you will get killed, first. After that, the big guys maybe even settle, things in a more peaceful way. But they don't understand it, because you would expect it from them. So, and then we have the situation at the these morons. So, political. I don't know how many times Putin, Lavrov, Zakharova, Patrushev, Medvedev, name all those people, should go out and say that it's over, no negotiations. But Politica, says that Ukraine wants peace talks in wake of Russian incursion, but not directly with Putin. Well, and then the Veronika Melkazorova, obviously some stupid, journal from, who knows, she sounds Russian or Ukrainian, but she says that Ukraine's attack into Russia is strengthening Kiev hand. So after that, you can stop reading this, because, yeah, you cannot explain average journal anywhere in the world what war is. But yes, those people still continue to exercise, this illusion, and they deliberately lie to their, constituents, to their public, that somehow Russia will be talking to Ukraine. No. Negotiations are over. So they are over also with the United States to a large degree, although there are some channels opened. And even India, Narendra Modi saying that, we can transfer at least, messages. Russia say, no, we don't have any messages for Ukraine. So the only messages we have, they are usually, conventional warhead with the long-range standoff weapons and, Russian infantry, which does, the deed, so to speak. And as I already stated, evidently the reaction from people in London, in United Kingdom, tells you that even they begin to notice that United States is not happy with how London behaves itself, because you know what, Russians may be very glad if United States throws London and UK into the meat grind. The Russians will gladly oblige. Why don't United Kingdom deploy its only brigade, which is capable to fight anything, with all those challenges they have, and see what's gonna happen? So, there are many American, Russian servicemen, be them pilots, be them, infantry guys, armor guys, who want to earn money, and challengers are good, juicy target. So, and then we have the situation with Poland. You know what? Poland gets it always. I mean, they still do not understand that no matter what they do, they will always be blamed for something. And so we have this situation. How to put it politely? I don't know. It's so funny. So Moscow already stated that Germans are lying about Nord Stream exchange because they delivered nothing. They just lie. That's what they do. So Berlin has not provided Moscow with any actual information about the attacks on the Nord Stream gas pipeline in 2022. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova has said. And so guess what we have now? Obviously there, this ridiculous idea that a pro-Ukrainian group, financed and did the deed. Well, obviously it's complete garbage. But look at this, even Polish press. So suddenly we have this situation, and this is from Interior Wydarzenia, it's a Polish press, and they say, well, Sarah Wagenknecht, she really doesn't matter politically that much, but even the fact that she says this from at the Bundestag, and she's talk about the fact that if the German authorities knew about the plans to attack Nord Stream, as United States says, and some people in Germany says that it was between Poland and Ukraine. So we will be dealing with the scandal of the century, said the head of the BSW party, Sarah Wagenknecht. The politician called for the establishment of investigative committee to investigate the case. So for several days, new reports on the attack on the gas pipeline have been appearing in the media. Some of them suggest that Poland and Ukraine were behind it. Donald Tusk strongly referred to these publications. Well, then they continue, polls continue, and they here it is. On Wednesday, the media reported that the German Federal Prosecutor General's office is looking for Ukrainian suspect in the case of sabotage of the Nord Stream gas pipeline. 2 other Ukrainian citizens, a man and a woman, are also suspects in this case. For several days, there have been also reports that Poland and Ukraine are responsible for the attack on the gas pipeline. The former head of German intelligence stated that this was the only likely plan, and Vladimir Zelensky and Andrzej Duda agreed on this matter. It is a comedy. It is just, I mean, it's a tragic comedy actually for Germany, because Germany is not independent state. It actually doesn't exist as the sovereign state. But the fact that in the end Poland well, yes, always gets it. So, and it just, what can I say? It's ridiculous. Obviously, everybody understands who was behind all this sabotage. And Cy Hirsch, come on, Cy Hirsch, Pulitzer winner, the guy who exposed My Lai, slaughter by, well, it's not just Lieutenant Kelly, but there are a bunch of other higher ups, including generals, who were responsible for slaughtering civilians, women and children primarily. He exposed it, and then, of course, he exposed that the United States essentially did the deed, which is one of the largest international terrorist acts in history. So, but guess what? Lab dogs, have to pay. And they will be holding the bag in the end. Germany will be, of course, paraded, as always, as the nincompoops and people who have no principles, honor, and integrity. But yes, even Germans are playing now this game that these were Poles and Ukrainians. My gosh, so funny. So you see, you have to be of a certain scale and import for your masters. And, either Poland or let alone Ukraine, they are, how to put it, they're already the material which is not needed, and they will be thrown under the bus. In the West primarily, the rest of the world knows exactly what have happened, and they just look at this from the outside and laugh their asses off from this circus. So, but yeah, Poles should have learned by now, for crying out loud. They will always be blamed, not without justification. They played a critical role in World War II, for example. But hey, what do I know? Or, for example, Kareli Barnett knows, or other people know. So, and in conclusion, I want to say about this Biden approved secret nuclear strategy. It is so secret that it was leaked. So, and we know that very little secret in it, but because, it's New York Times and they need to, show this doing something, Biden approved secret nuclear strategy refocusing on Chinese threat. In a classified document approved in March, the president ordered U.S. forces to prepare for possible coordinated, whatever that means, possible coordinated nuclear confrontation with Russia, China, and North Korea. Well, let me put it this way. It is their primarily PR. United States will obviously continue to focus on its naval nuclear deterrent, and probably will get their nuclear-tipped cruise missiles back, like Tomahawk, or maybe JASSM, I don't know, but Tomahawk certainly. These are obsolete missiles, but still they could be very dangerous. But that's about it. They know that China is growing, leaps and bounds. In terms of Russia, as I already stated, United States is not even in the same league in terms of delivery systems of the nuclear weapons. So this this all is about, creating the impression that, oh yeah, we're planning, strategizing, just conceptualizing and things like that. I mean, you cannot overcome limitations of your capabilities or lack thereof. And so that's just PR primarily. So they couldn't reshuffle, available means and capability, whatever they want. It doesn't change the balance of power properly. So, and that's what they show. And as we already know, because Russians also stole everything from the United States, as Mr. Trump said, well, obviously now, what can I say? I have no words. I mean, it's unbelievable. So can you imagine people outside looking inside and seeing all this? Guess from 3 times what kind of conclusions they are making. And so this is what I needed to tell you guys today. And as always, in conclusion, those who like what I do, please subscribe to my channel. And those who can afford it, please support me on Patreon or buy me a coffee and two. And this is it for today, guys. Most likely I will try to make a video on Sunday. If not, I will try to do it Saturday, traditional type thing, but if not, Sunday. So, and what can I say? Have a nice rest of your week, have a nice upcoming weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.